Long time no see, guys. Oh yeah, I'm fine, thank you for asking. Today I'm going to talk about speedrunning. If you don't know what that means, let's check it out together on Wikipedia. A speedrun is a playthrough of a video game or a selected part of it, such as a single level, performed to complete it as quickly as possible. So,
it is what it is.
Why have I chosen exactly Half-Life? Well, in my opinion, this is the game where the speedrunning process is the most satisfactory. Like, look at this, you're literally fucking flying throughout the whole map having infinite amount of health. So, sit comfortably, because we're about to dive into the world of insane people. Everything started from Quake. You probably know this great game by its jump sound. Players noticed that, oh shit, when I jump doing a slight move with my mouse, I gain more speed than usual. Obviously it was a bug that developers didn't seem to pay enough attention to, and eventually it turned into the flight of players throughout the game. The way to gain speed by jumping was called bunny hop. The way to gain enormous speed after blowing yourself up with an explosive thing like a grenade was called damage boost, and so on. Developers didn't seem to like all these things, so they began to rapidly fix them, but as usual, they didn't manage to fix anything, because whatever you do, the players will definitely bypass it. So why did I start from the birth of Jesus? Well, because Quake is the game that had mostly influenced the movement in Half-Life. When Gabe Newell, along with Mike Harrington, began to work on Half-Life, they decided to make their game engine based on the open source engine of Quake, and so Gold Source appeared. Gold Source is a famous engine that was used for a lot of games, such as Cry of Fear, Counter-Strike 1.6, Team Fortress Classic, Day of Defeat, and many of other Half-Life and Counter-Strike expansions. So let's at last begin with how all those movement tricks used for speedrunning works in Gold Source. But first of all, down here you can see a number. It shows my current speed measured in units per second. Well, at the base we have the typical strafe. You've probably heard about this trick in games such as Counter-Strike. Basically, a strafe is pressing one of the movement keys and moving the mouse left and right in a precise way to increase your movement speed. Just like this. If you press A button, then you have to smoothly turn your mouse in the same direction. This technique requires a little bit of practice, but after a couple dozen tries you will definitely understand how it works. But how do you gain speed by performing a strafe? When pressing one of the movement keys, such as W or D, we may see that your speed is limited to a certain amount. Although, if we combine W and D, our velocity increases because the speed we gain from moving forward is combined with speed from moving to the right. In fact, this is a bug that we abuse. Now, to make it clear what bunny hop is, you just have to combine strafes with jumps. But the jumps have to be performed ideally. As the laws of physics say, when frictioning with something, we tend to stop. So it is in Half-Life. If you jump too late, then you will rub too much time with the ground and eventually we lose a lot of speed. To avoid that, all you have to do is to jump right in the moment when you slightly touch the ground. By doing that, you won't lose any of your speed. As a result, you will transform into a But there's a small problem, like, yes Marino, we are not robots, we cannot jump that perfectly. Well, it's your fucking problem then. For pussies that cannot hit the right moment to jump, people came up with an interesting thing, namely Auto Bunny Hop. It's a utility that just helps you to jump as soon as you touch the ground. Your task is to hold the spacebar button and make strafes. Yeah, there's no way to avoid strafing, you have to master it by yourself. Well, it was much easier to explain all those tricks than I thought. Did you understand everything I said?
No!
Okay, let's carry on then. Besides strafes and bunny hop, there are also some other interesting tricks that I haven't talked about yet. First one is wall strafing. Whoa, stop it right there. Do I have to stroke my penis against the wall? Well, yeah. Even though it sounds complicated, it's probably the easiest tricks that exist in the Gold Source engine. To perform it, you have to move towards the wall, facing it somewhere around 8 degrees. Finally, you will need the math you studied at school. So, when you gain enough speed, you just jump and start to bunny hop to maintain the velocity you gained. Another amazing trick that will make you fly is damage boosting, that I was talking about in the beginning of this video. What happens in real life when you explode the grenade under your legs? Wait, stop, you don't have to try it. I mean, it's obvious that you will fly to the sky. The same thing works here. After launching a rocket under your legs, exploding a grenade or an explosive barrel, you gain a lot of velocity that can be used to reach a spot that you wouldn't reach before. It seems like I'm drawing out this video by explaining all of the tricks in particular, so let's speed up a little. Well, that's how Albert Einstein developed his theory of relativity. Oh, you didn't have enough time to write everything down? Okay, let me repeat once again. There are two more tricks I would like to tell you about. Double docking, a trick that was often used in Counter-Strike to... You know, this video is about Half-Life. To perform it, just hold the forward or sideways key and press the dock button twice. But you have to do it pretty fast to perform it effectively. It is usually used to climb up some edges, get to another platform without jumping, or even for changing the pattern of your B-hop. For example, if you see that you won't be able to reach something in only 3 jumps, then you may use a double dock and 3 jumps. Usually it works if your hands are not broken. I think you're already tired and bored of all this stuff, so let's move on to another topic. Usually for speedrunning Half-Life, people choose the VON version of the game. It's a very old version of Half-Life where most of the tricks still work. However, as you may expect, there is also the Steam version of the game. The main differences between those two versions is bunny hop. In VON version, you can bunny hop not thinking about the speed you have, because there is roughly speaking no cap. Yet in the Steam version, your velocity is limited to 540 units per second. Yeah, I know that sucks. When your velocity is greater than 540 units and you touch the ground, your UPS is dropped to 320. To avoid that, people use double dock. When you're approaching the limit of your velocity, you just perform a double dock to lose a little of your speed. That allows you to make another couple jumps without losing your wall speed. We're finally here. Not talking about the boring technical part of speedrunning. I want to begin with the fact that I'm also a speedrunner of this game, although a shitty one. Look, it's me, I'm here! But even here, I'm not the first one. Half-Life speedrunning is divided into two big parts, scripted and scriptless runs. Basically the difference is that in one category you're allowed to use scripts, such as auto bunny hopping, and in another one you're not. So, combining all the tricks I told you about earlier, we can get this. I think it's pretty impressive. I got acquainted with the speedrunning of this game around 2 years ago, and since then my life changed completely. I graduated from university with excellent marks, got a good job, a dog, and even got married. However, stepping back from jokes, I would like to say that the Half-Life speedrunning community is a really friendly one. There are not a lot of streams right now of this game, but those that are a place where a convivial atmosphere predominates. 1 year ago there was a tough battle between Muty and Maxim. Those two are the gods of Half-Life speedrunning. They were both fighting for the world record. That was the moment when every single evening was accompanied by a chill stream full of perfect runs of Half-Life. There's also one guy named Kananga, who is struggling hard right now to get the world record, while Muty and Maxim are having a rest doing something else. I will leave the links for their Twitch channels in the description below. The current world record of the game is 26 minutes 48 seconds, but I believe that very soon this time will be outdated. Also, of course, there are not only Half-Life speedruns. Its expansions are also very popular in terms of speedrunning. Blue Shift and Opposing Force are now often speedrun because their speedrun route and tricks are not as polished as Half-Life ones. Seems like I can talk about this topic forever, but I feel your desire to shut my mouth up, so I'm about to end here. I hope that I was able to awaken your interest in speedrunning games, in particular speedrunning of Half-Life 1. If you liked my narration, then consider subscribing to get more videos. Finally did that. Thank you for watching this video, see you in another one.